fixed it.
I think it is.
Let's go on here and test it on the YouTube.
There you go. Okay, well, here we go. Mark. We're coming in now. Stage 19, Albertville to La Plagne. Let's take a look here. Thanks for the help. I hope that fixed it, Victor. Albertville, they've had 92 Winter Olympics here over to La Plagne. Like I said, La Plagne, famous stage. I think 1987 was one of the great little aspects here in this race because they went over the Madeleine, and that's where Nicholas is the son. Stephen Roach attacks. He gets a minute and a half. Pedro Delgado brings him back and then drops him for like a minute. The motorbikes cameras aren't even really showing anything. And then all of a sudden at the very end, Stephen Roach, boom, and he only loses like 5 seconds. He ends up winning the time trial, takes another, and it was a 48-second time difference at the finish here. Very close. When I was watching 1989, Greg LeMond's making his comeback and CBS does their thing. They start, it's every week, every Sunday. So Sunday they come in, they're like, the stage had already finished. And they're like, well, we're going to recap this whole last week. We're just letting you know it's the closest race in Tour de France history. And I think there was ones Jan Janssen had won in a few, the 60s, perhaps. It was like 18 seconds. And I was like, holy shit, this thing's close. And of course, Greg LeMond had one of the closest times. Anyway, here's what we have going on. This was shortened, very shortened race today, 93 point something kilometers, 93.1 kilometers, which is very short. So we're going to do the math here. 93.1 times 0.62, 0.62 equals 57.57 miles. That's very short. Okay, so what's the profile look like? Well, and so it's going to be a barn burner. They start out right away with a sprint. You should be controlled by a little trek, and then an HC category climb. I mean, if 50-some mile race today, and then they hit the Cat 2, then a long descent, and then bam up to HC again, which is about 20-some kilometers. Just the last climb. That's almost a third of that's a decent amount of the entire race. So what's going to happen? Well, you expect Trek should control, Milan should get the sprints, and then the race is going to explode. And if you're in any kind of interest of taking this stage today and getting up the road, you should have been on the trainer early for warm-up because it's going to be hot right out of the box, and expect fireworks. And then, who's going to control it? Well, here's the stage as we see it coming into La Plagne. That's a little bit of the route. Here is at least the finished part, because it's twisty all up the mountain. Here is La Plagne. There you go, 20 kilometers. But as you can see from the originals, let's go back to here. I mean, this is a bit of a valley, and then it's a slog all the way to the finish. I had got this mixed up with Plagne a few times over this when we were talking about La Plagne, but there you go. Here's how it starts. HC drop downs and then up to a Cat 2. And as you can expect, we got, some people looking for KOM points. This is actually a good one for Lenny Martinez, cheater, yesterday holding on to the car, because if he could get up here and get this HC, it's a quick drop down and then boom, an instant Cat 2, and he can take all points available. There are 20 for the HC. There were 5 for the other. And I believe coming into this, he was down. Well, let's take actually a look here. There is the stage right there. There we go. So yesterday, Connor won. Tadej up by 426 on the on the yellow jersey. Points classification. Jonathan Milan is stretching it here, 332 to 257. So he needs to get still some more points, because you never know what's going to happen here. The KOM, Tadej up 105 to 89 over Jonas. Jonas is in the KOM jersey today, and then Lenny Martinez. So if Lenny gets all those first two, he can get, 92 plus another 5, so 97. He gets 97. He could get himself into second place, barring Tadej. At this point, I want Lenny I want him to struggle. I want him to go up the road and get his ass blown out because of what he did yesterday. It's so blatant. It's just, if you didn't know, he held onto the car multiple times. He was, get a bottle, but he never even took the bottle. He took a gel and then hands it back, and then he continues to do that as they're pulling him up there, and then he takes the KOM points. He was docked 8 points and some money. But it's really unsporting when you're using a car to get back in place. The best thing you can do is just like, okay, I got back to the pack, I'm just going to sit in. No, he goes to the front and tries to win this thing outright. Remember, Paraka Pack, they're doing, I was supposed to do a show today. I haven't seen it happen, but there's our buddies over there. Jonathan Narvaez, that's today. We're not, let's not spoil it. Let's not spoil it. This was a pretty little picture here. They going over this dam today. Gorgeous thing. A little scary to go over perhaps on your bike, but don't fall, folks. Don't fall. Here we go. Starting into the day, they're going to do the sprint. First part of the climb, but there's a sprint at least before it. Jonathan Milan wins it over Biniam Girmay, so he gets another 20 points. No points down there. Will Barta slots himself in. A few little treks all throughout there. They did their job. They did good. They deserve to get something good out of this thing with Jonathan Milan. 2 wins at least for them. Quinn Simmons has been I hope Quinn just learns a little bit about strategy, but he's been very strong and brave. He's been a brave kid, so that's good for him. Then the whole race just rips apart up this HC. Riders start going up the road. Stores going up the road. You've got, I think it was Sweeney. Will Barta's going up there. Ina Rubio. Roglic. Roglic takes off. We're just 11.2 kilometers to the top of the first one. 75. We're only like not even 20K into the race, and Roglic is hitting out hard. Lenny Martinez gets up to him, and those two are going to start working together to go over to get the KOM. At this point, Lenny hasn't held onto Roglic. He hasn't held onto a motorbike. He's doing fine. He's doing what he should do, and good for him. Valentin Parapente, he tries to make it up to them. He gets there, but over the first of the climbs, it's Lenny Martinez gets to 20 points, Roglic gets 15, and Parapente gets 12. However, there's a group coming up from behind, and that group includes Tim Wellens. He's driving the pace from behind. But before we get there, there's Tobias Foss, Victor Campenaerts, Ina Rubio, Bruno Amarai, Tim Wellens. They're all going up the road. Sepp Kuss is getting spit out the back. Soler is getting spit out the back. You've got Matteo Jorgensen getting spit out. So this whole thing, you got the sprint. There was teams not ready or they're just dead. Now Soler starts making it through, and he makes it all the way back up to the front to his group. 30 kilometers to go. You've got just a small, I don't know, maybe 30 group. By the way, Lenny Martinez also takes points over the next KOM, so he gets his 20. He gets 25 points, slots himself into second place. However, coming up to who's going to get the final points on the last one, that is yet to be seen. Tim Wellens, UAE, they're drilling it into the final, and as they're coming up here, everybody is looking good except for one person, Kevin Vauquelin. He's already in trouble. Otherwise, the main groups are there. They're there, and they're in good shape. Tymon Arensman, 14.2K to go. He attacks out there. Gall is there. Oscar Only is there. We've also got Lipowitz in the mix. At this point, Roglic had taken on up the road, but then he gets gobbled up. It's like there's an attack. What I want to say about Roglic real quick is we saw yesterday. Is he going to get third? He's working up there. Maybe he's going to get third. And then Lipowitz is there. And then he's helping Lipowitz. It's like you guys didn't coordinate. You didn't drop back over the Madeleine to get to bring Lipowitz up because you're fighting for this. But then you do a day like today, you do being Roglic, where you're going to go off for the stage hunt. You don't do anything to help your teammate. And I'm just like, but if you're fine with risking it all to win a stage, why weren't you at least fine yesterday risking it to help your teammate make sure he stays in third place? If he does stay in third place today and overall, it's because of his work, not yours. Now, I think he was a bit of a kook yesterday going off, behind and then up the road and then he was never riding with a group. It was very frustrating. Tymon Arensman goes. Tadej seems to follow. He gets back up to there. Then he throws in an attack. And you know what? This attack looked like kind of Jonas's at the end of the day, which was like kind of pathetic. Matter of fact, Only's able to go with him a little bit. These two head up the road. They drop Only. They get up to Arensman. And then Arensman puts in another attack just less than a kilometer away, and he goes clear of these guys. Now, they're both kind of yip-yapping here, and actually Jonas does what Jonas should be doing a lot of times, which is just sit on the wheel. So Tadej starts thumping out the record, and up the road is Tymon Arensman. He's getting about a 28 to 30 second gap. It's in that range for most of the climb. Just letting you know he's staying there. Ben Healy is in there. Tobias Johannesson's in there. Lipowitz is there. Oscar Only is there. Felix Gall is yo-yoing off the back. They then say it's time to kick it a little bit. Tadej throws in this other attack. Oscar Onley goes with him because everything had come back together, and then kind of just sits up, and Jonas is like, I'm not going through. Meanwhile, Tymon Arnsman, who's already got a stage win for Ineos, he's clicking his way through at the top. Lipowitz comes back to Onley. Now, Tadej's just setting a nice pace here, and 2K to go. Onley starts having trouble. Oscar Onley is having trouble. He's, remember, just a few seconds, 20-some seconds off of third place. Did a great ride yesterday, but it's catching up to him. And today, Lipowitz stayed with the group. He didn't do all this, I'm off the front and wasting his time. He saved himself, and I think he is the stronger rider, deservedly to be in third place, and he stays with him. But he looks back, he sees Oscar Onley's in trouble, and he takes over at the front. Coming into the last kilometer, this gap to Arnsman's been drip, drip, drip from 28, 30 seconds down to 19, 16. And you're like, do these guys want to win? UAE rode on the front, bringing everyone back as if Tadej needs to get this win. So is he going to get it? Now, is Jonas going to get it? He's done the right thing. He's just sat on the wheels all the climb, and it's tick, 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 coming closer. But it is Tymon Arnsman up there who has held everyone already off in a climb. He's no joke here. He's been holding you guys at bay this entire climb. And unless you actually attack and go, he's going to maybe make it to the finish. He does come up to the finish. He's looking strong. And finally, in the last few hundred meters, Jonas attacks. And you know what? Tadej can't close it down. Tadej can't bring it to a close. He can't go over the top of him. Arnsman gets the win. We're going to post up here. I don't want to get copyright struck, so you got to kind of do a bunch of pauses here. He gets the win and comes over the line. Look at that. Not even a time gap. They might have given one to those two, but Jonas was easily able to overcome Tadej. They both looked tired. Lipowitz struggles himself in. There's people here to help riders as they're coming in. Watch this guy running in to help Arnsman. He doesn't know who he's going to help. He runs into, I did not see that before. I did not see it. Tadej's been running into the Visma bike. He's been doing some other things. Let's go back here because this is interesting. I think he throws a shoulder into this guy. He sees this guy's coming, and then he hits him. And then this guy's like, oh, I'm sorry. Now, what was the guy doing out there anyway? Well, he's trying to help riders come down. Arnsman gets the win. I think Tadej was blown today. I think he was just tired. He just had it, and he didn't have much more other to do what he had to do. And you know what? What was the plan for Visma all along? We're going to tire Tadej out. Well, you know what? Today you did, and it was only 60 miles or so, and you did because you didn't take the poles. Your team's been working for him this whole time. He's sitting back there. This is finally a situation where he got separated. He attacked for some reason. He did old Tadej stuff for no reason. Just you've got huge gaps. Make them ride, but no, they didn't. Tadej gets on the front. And he wears himself out to the point where Jonas can actually beat him in a sprint on a short stage where he should have been able to. But they both left it too late. Tymon Arnsman gets the win. Matter of fact, Tadej in an interview says something like, yeah, he just sat in my wheel. And I'm like, oh, dude, you've been doing that. Why do people make the dumbest statements about strategies, especially when it's the right thing to do, which is like not to pull through in this case. But Tadej is going to be on to winning this whole thing. Here we go. They did give a 2-second gap here to those two. Lipowitz comes in at 6 seconds. Oscar Only 47. Felix Gall 134 down. Tobias Johannesson at 141. Ben Healy 219. Parapentre at 347. Lenny Martinez, the cheater, at 402. Palace 15 minutes back. Sepp Kuss 15 minutes back. Jorgensen 22 minutes back. A little bit of a rough day for those guys. There's GC top 10. Ben O'Connor, Ben Healy, Roglic, Vauquelin stays in the top 10. Johannesson moves up 2 spots. Gall moves up 1. Oscar Onley loses some time. He's about a minute back on Lipowitz, and 425 to Jonas. There you are. That is your GC. Your points, though, there you go. Jonathan Milan, 352 to 272, 80 points in the lead there. KOM goes to Tadej, 117, 104 to Jonas, 97 for Lenny. Good job, Lenny. Youth Florian Lipowitz is in the lead by a minute, and the team still Visma solidly 24 minutes ahead of the team UAE, and I think they're going to probably take that title outright. Okay, let's look at there's the complimentary results. We talked about those. Arnsman gets the KOMs at the top. Vingegaard gets as well. still moves ahead. And also the points at the finish, Arnsman gets 20, Tadej gets 15, but there was 20 there that went to good boy Jonathan Milan. And I think that's actually a safe bet now. I think Tadej's tired. I think we're getting tired. Narvaez was the only one. Disposal of waste outside the litter zone. All right. Well, there you go. Good for him. And there's tomorrow's stage. Stage 20, Nantua to Pontarlier, 184.2 kilometers, bending in. Oh, here we go. Sorry, didn't have this up. Tadej should win the Tour de France. He will. He will, Victor. Barring some sort of mad cow disease might ravage the region. So tomorrow you've got some Cat 3, 4, 2, and 4. I just don't think there's enough. Let's look at the complementary of the results, but I don't think there's enough points available left for Lenny to get anything. So the KOM, there's 2, 3, 5. So yeah, let me see, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 points he could get tomorrow. No, he doesn't have enough. Sprint points, there is 20 at the first one and then 30 at the finish. I see this as kind of your Wout, Quinn Simmons types of days. Maybe another Ben Healy type of, though they may bring him in. But maybe the sprinters can get over. I just don't think that's going to happen with this Cat 2 here in the middle. So I think it's a great day for a breakaway. And then we got stage 21 coming into the finish. We've talked about that one. I think you could get, if these GC guys are hungry enough and not too tired, they could do it. Still waiting for Jonas to attack. He gonna go now? That was disappointing. You know, Jonas, both Tadej and Jonas deserve to lose today. I'm talking about the stage. If either one of them wanted to win that stage, you can't leave it as late as it is. I think Tadej put it in what he said. It was just a number on his computer, a power number that he knew he was safe at, which was it's enough to keep things going. But he wasn't going to put himself in trouble. Perfect. He didn't have teammates around there, but I think he was tired. He was just on the front there for a long time. And Jonas, I think he's getting tired too, but he should have gone inside of 1K. Now, Tadej likely comes with him and then maybe comes over the top of him, but you got to bring this guy back first. And if you're not going to bring him back, you definitely don't do it in the last 20. And by the way, look how fast they closed him down. Now, Arnsman did post up and sit there a little bit, but come on. I mean, you had to go maybe 500 meters from the line. So they both deserved to lose. Arnsman deserved to win. I didn't want him to. I was like fine with Lipowitz winning. Bora, it would be nice to see them get a win out of something here. They'll get third place, but no stages. So once again, we added yesterday, there were 15 teams that hadn't won a stage. Ben O'Connor wins yesterday. We knocked that down to 14, but now we just got one that had already had a stage that just added to it. So here we go. Other than that, you know, decent stage, short enough. A lot of bad weather. I was interested to see if it was going to go any different, maybe some more catastrophe on the climbs, but we didn't have it. There you go. The tour's coming to an end here shortly. The only thing it's got to be a breakaway day tomorrow. Got to be a breakaway. Some teams that haven't scored anything. Who do we look at? Israel Primertech. They've got to get someone up there. Jayco's got theirs now. Who else do we have? You know, I just said there was 15 teams. What if we look at the start list here real quick? Let's see if we can find a team that hasn't had any. Those teams, Intermarché has Bahrain victorious. They need to get something up there. So Butrago, maybe a Fred Wright day. Red Bull hasn't, but who's going to go up there? Vlasov for them. Maybe Roglic try it again. Little Trek's already had their work for the sprint, but then I think maybe you'll see Quinn Simmons going up the road to try to get something for him. Lewis Askey perhaps for Groupama. Tudor hasn't got anything yet. Look for Danese. Well, he won't make it up there. Michael Storr or Alaphilippe, definitely for those. Arkea, I don't think they have any. Costa2, he might come up there in that. Decathlon. Felix Gall can't go up there. Callum Scottson, maybe. Parapentre. No, that's the other Parapentre. XDS, Cofidis, Total Energies, Postal Pick NL. A bunch of these guys, they still need to get up the road. Tyler Yonke, thanks for live streaming. Thanks for coming in, Victor. Subscribe, like, do all that stuff. We will see you guys tomorrow.
All right, gold member. Don't play the laughing boy. There are only two things I can't stand in this world. People who are intolerant of other